Aviators, I'm Shane with Overspeed RC, and if you are a new RC helicopter pilot, I'm sure that you've heard it a million times from all the local legends at your flying field that if you want to progress, get a simulator, or maybe sim every day, or perhaps my personal favorite, the best money you're ever going to spend is on a simulator. Yes, I agree all of these statements are true, but what if you don't know what sim to buy? Or maybe how to program your transmitter, or you might even be starting from square one and I'm wondering, how the hell do I even download and install the program? Okay, if you've got a macOS computer and a FrSky transmitter, you are ready to level up your real-life flying skills. This video is a complete beginner's guide to installing Heli-X, creating a dedicated simulator model on your FrSky transmitter, connecting it to your Mac, and getting everything working together correctly. And along the way, I'm going to point out the most common setup mistakes and how to avoid them so you don't waste hours banging your head against the wall. Okay, we've got a lot to go over, so let's get to it. Wait a minute. Hit throttle hold for a sec. We got to chat about a few things. Now, without knowing anything about you, I would recommend Heli-X as the first simulator to start with. It's inexpensive, it runs both on Mac and PC, the graphics are good, and it runs well on lower spec computers. It has lots and lots of model helicopters to fly. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to be working with the demo version because it is easily available. But I do recommend that you support the developer and purchase the full version. It's really a great value considering the level of realism, interface simplicity, learning aids, and all the different helicopter models that are available. Plus, it has really great support from a very active community. Okay, there's lots of other great features about this simulator, but we're going to save that for another video. Okay, the transmitter that I'm going to be using for this demonstration is my FrSky Twin X-Lite S. Oh yeah, that's right. Don't laugh. Yes, I know it's small. Yes, I know that only drone pilots purchase this transmitter. But come on, guys. It's really a great radio for helicopters, and there are a number of things that I really like about it. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a review on the radio, and I'll get that done. Okay, your transmitter might be a different model. You may or may not have a touchscreen. Your switches and buttons could be arranged and labeled differently. Don't sweat it. The basic steps will still apply for the Ethos operating system regardless of what FrSky transmitter model you have. Now, regarding the Mac and the Mac's operating system, there are a number of different versions available. These operating systems are designed to run optimally on specific computers depending on the different component configurations of that Mac's hardware. To me, I found this very confusing, but I figured it out and I'm going to help guide you through it. Look, I can't cover every issue, but I am going to show you the most common hangups. If your screen doesn't look exactly like mine, that's okay. The steps will still apply. Okay, let's begin with the Mac. First thing that we need to do is download the Heli-X simulator from the official website. Let's go ahead and fire up the web browser. And the web address is heli-x.info. That'll take us to their main page. Under Get Heli-X, go to the Download tab. Now when you're here, got a couple of different options available. They're based on your Mac's processor and operating system. Choosing the correct version matters. In the case that you're looking at the download options and wondering what the difference is or which processor you have, let's quickly go over the two Mac options. Intel Macs are usually the older models. This is pre-2020. New Macs feature the Apple-designed ARM processor, also known as Apple Silicon. If you want to double check what processor and operating system you are running, go to the Apple menu, it's the upper left, and select About This Mac. So in this case, I'm running macOS Monterey and my processor is a 2.3 gigahertz dual core Intel i5. Oh, it's a powerhouse. So that'll give you the information that you need to select the correct download option. Now, you also have another choice to make: zipped or the standard DMG file. I don't know what the difference is. I tested both and couldn't find a practical difference. I would recommend just keeping it simple and download the DMG file. Just click it and the file will begin downloading. We can check the progress in the upper right hand show downloads option. In this case, looks like it's going to be 16 minutes. So we're going to come back when the download's finished.
15 minutes later.
Okay, download's complete. Now let's get this bad boy installed. We're going to go to the download folder and open that up. Here's the DMG file. Double click it. What that's going to do is going to mount the installer disk. There it is. From the Finder menu, we're going to select it. Now, here's the Heli-X 11 simulator application. This is a shortcut to the application folder on the Mac. Select the program, hold, drag it to the application folder, and it will begin installing it. Okay, perfect. That's done. Now, the next thing that we got to do is allow controller input for the transmitter to work in the sim. So we'll go up to the Apple menu, System Preferences, Security. Go ahead and double click that. And then we're going to scroll down to Input Monitoring. You can see here, I've already allowed Heli-X to have access. I've installed this program numerous times. If this is your first installation, you do not have that already pre-approved, go ahead and unlock your Mac. Click on the plus sign button to add a new program. And then we will scroll down, there it is. You'll select it. And then just click open. That will give Heli-X the access that you need. If you don't do this, the simulator is going to open, but your sticks and switches will not respond. So it's really important. Okay, back at the Finder menu. Let's go ahead and open Heli-X for the first time. Double click. It's bouncing. It's taking a bit. Something's not right. Oh, there it is. Heli-X cannot be opened because the developer cannot be verified. This is a super common hold block on the macOS. It's just a Mac trying to protect itself. No problem. There's an easy workaround. Go ahead and hit cancel. From here, hit the control key, select it down. So keep it held down. Whoops. Hold down the control key, and then select the Heli-X icon, and then go over to open. Just choose open. From here, it's going to ask you again, do you really want to open this? Yes, we really want to open that. Now, that should be a one and done deal. You should only have to do that one time. Let's start it up and see if it fires up. All right, no joystick found. Of course, no joystick is connected. There's our simulator. We've got an airfield and we've got a model. All right, perfect. Okay, at this point, we've installed Heli-X and we're about halfway there. Next, it's going to be time to set up the FrSky transmitter. The setup is straightforward, but this is where most simulator problems begin. So stick with me here. Once we get this right, everything else is going to get easier. Okay, let's power up the transmitter. All right, I want to create a new model and I want to create a new folder. Those options, they're not available here. They should be, but they're not. In order to get those options to come up, you have to first select a model from the startup screen and then go back to the model select screen, and now those options are available. So let's create a folder first. and I'm going to name that folder Simulator. This is where I'm going to keep all my simulator models, just to provide some separation from my real-life flying models. Now, I've got this large plus sign. This is going to take you to the model creation wizard. Let's go ahead and select it. We're going to create a model. Heli-X is a helicopter sim primarily, but it still wants to see the traditional airplane inputs. All of the sims are like that. So let's go ahead and select airplane, right arrow. The receiver really doesn't matter. You're not going to be having any radio functions transmitted from this model at this time. So we're just going to select non-stabilized receiver, next arrow. The engine, one channel. Ailerons, one channel, no flaps. The tail is traditional. The elevator, one channel, and the rudder, one channel. Now, this is your basic channel summary screen. Everything looks good so far. Now we're going to name our model. I'm going to name it Heli-X. Okay. It says picture. Okay. Ethos has a couple of ways that you can customize your transmitter. I think all the major OSs do. You can assign, photos for icons for different models. You can do custom voice alerts, custom voice callouts. And so let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a video on that. And I can show you how to walk you through that process. All right, for now, I'm just going to move on. Right arrow. Okay, boom, just like that, our model is created. The very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the airplane icon. I'm going to swing over and go to checklist. Now, what this checklist is every time you load this model, these are the predefined conditions that need to exist so that warnings don't come up on the transmitter. So like your throttle being at 0%, your motor switch being in the off position. Maybe you've programmed in a throttle cut switch and that needs to be in the off position. So this is another way that you can customize your transmitter quite easily, but for now and for this simulator model, I don't want any of those safety features engaged. So for throttle, go through, no check, fail safe, off. And the switches, these are all the predefined positions for the, all the different switches on the radio. I'm going to disable all of this. No check. Okay, working our way down the list. The function switches. Now, these are these 4 switches on this radio model here. By default, there is no position enabled for those. And again, for your pots and sliders, which is this one and that one, there's no default position for those. So everything checks out. All right, now that we know the radio is not going to yell at us every time that we select a model, let's go ahead and set up our switches. Now, switches on a model, these are going to enable us to change flight modes, or banks. We're going to stop and start the motor whenever we want. And, when we're using the sim, we can enable self-rescue or rescue self-leveling. These are all the basic functions that you're going to use in a real-life model. The use of rescue, it's optional. You do not have to program it. Some pilots really like it and feel it's a benefit. Others can't stand it. My thought is, if you're going to use it in real-life flying, I recommend you sim with it as well. The model gets out of sorts, you don't know what to do, enable that rescue, okay? And then it's going to become second nature when you're flying your real life model at the field. When it comes to switches, the most important thing is to set your switches up exactly like they're going to be in your real life model. This one change alone can double the value of your simulator time. The idea is to build muscle memory and improve that transfer of skills from the simulator to real life flying. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go to work on our bank and flight mode switch. I'm going to program that at this SA switch. It's right there. So in order to do that, we're going to go to mixes, and we're going to go to this little plus sign here, and we're going to add a free mix, and that's going to be, says, where do you want your free mix? This is a list of the different channels or mixes that you have right now, and I want it to just show up in the last position. Let's go ahead and label it, name it, flight mode. Good. Hit enter. The condition, it's always on. That channel is always functioning. The source. Here, you choose the source and then just cycle the switch. It's selected switch SA. Now, scroll down, and when it says output, choose channel 5. This channel hasn't been used before by the radio. It's wanting to know, do you want to just copy the mix's name to the channel? Yes, that's exactly what we want. Okay, let's cycle it. All the way down, the channel is registering -100. Now it's at 0. And all the way up, it's at +100. That's perfect. That's just what we want. We're going to back out. And then now it shows up in the list of mixes or channels. Okay, we're going to repeat this process for the throttle hold motor on switch. Let's go ahead and name it. Enter. The source. Cycle the switch. Now that tells it switch SB. Good. The operation is add. Scroll all the way down. Let's give it an output. Let's tell it where do we want, what channel do we want. We're going to go channel 6. Copy the name. Let's test that switch. All the way up to 100, 0, and -100. Okay, looking good. Now the last switch is, is that rescue switch. I got a funny story when it comes to rescue. One time I was flying and I was bebopping along doing my flippy spinny stuff, and I flew right into the sun. I got really excited and I bombed that helicopter right into the sun. I couldn't see it. All I could see was this big ball. And I knew the helicopter was either coming at me or coming at somebody else, and I didn't know what to do. So I hit the self-rescue switch, and I hit it because I knew the helicopter would level, and I knew it would basically stop flying. And it gave me an opportunity to, I don't know, save my pride, save somebody else. So, but before I had started really using self-rescue, I'd learned that it needed to be on a momentary switch. And the reason it's got to be on a momentary switch is you've got gyros and you've got accelerometers inside that Flybarless system. The accelerometers are used for rescue and self-leveling, and they are susceptible to vibrations, really susceptible to vibrations. And that model, when it's flying, is constantly seeing vibrations. Now, it doesn't mean that self-level or rescue isn't going to work. It'll work, but it may not always work perfectly. So by enabling it on a switch, if you enable rescue and it doesn't come perfectly level, or maybe it's partly level, you can enable it again, and then it'll level it up just a little bit more. It just kind of resets it, and I just found it was beneficial. So with that, the source is going to be, again, we will choose to just push the switch. Now it's chosen SE. And the output. There's all our different channels. We're going to go channel 7. Yes. And let's cycle it. There it is. Perfect. Now we're going to go back. Here is all of our different channels. Everything's looking good. Now I want to show you another function called the outputs function. So These are all the different channels in your radio. Here's aileron, elevator, throttle, and rudder. Then you scroll over one page over, and these are your new channels that you just programmed. Let's just check them out. Flight mode's looking good. Throttle hold. There's your auto rotation mode. There's motor off. That looks good. And rescue. All right, perfect. We are all set up. And let's get this thing input into the computer. Congratulations. The hard part is done. And now we're on Easy Street. So let's get this sim set up so we can get some flights in. Hey, one more thing. If this walkthrough helped you get your radio set up correctly, consider giving the video a like and subscribing. I am going to try and focus on setups that actually transfer into real world flying. Now, this last part's easy, but there are a few snags that can get you. Don't worry, I got your back. I'm going to walk you right through it. So let's first fire up the transmitter. In the simulator folder that we just created, we're going to select the model Heli-X. Okay, now that that model is active, we're going to take our USB-C cable, plug it into the transmitter. Now this USB-C cable is also plugged into the laptop. When that's completed, this screen's going to pop up. Just select the joystick selection. All right, that's it for there. Now we're ready to start up the simulator Heli-X on the computer. Go ahead and jump start that. Okay, now it's probably going to load. Yep, it's going to load the demo screen. I downloaded this as the demo. I own the full version. Just a little sales pitch for the software. This guy has put in a ton of work into developing this simulator, and it works really, really well on a variety of platforms. Consider purchasing the full version. I know he'd appreciate it. And it would just keep these great products coming to us as helicopter pilots. So, okay, simulator's fired up. If you did not get any warnings that automatically popped up on the screen, then that's great. You're ready to configure your transmitter. If it says it didn't recognize the joystick, go back to that permission setting that we discussed earlier. The problem is probably there. So we're gonna click to bring up the menu, and then go to controller. And here, we're basically gonna follow the wizards. First one we're gonna do is sticks. Okay, our switches are all gonna be in the center position. And then, that's what this screen's telling you. Make sure all your switches and knobs are in the center position. Hit next. And then we're gonna move everything. All of our sticks, we're gonna move them to the maximum positions and our switches. And then as I'm cycling them, I'm just bringing them back to the center position. There's that rescue switch. Okay, I'm gonna hit next. And now it wants to make sure everything is back in the center position, which it is. Hit next. Now collective, all the way forward and back. Next, aileron, right, back, elevator forward. Good. Rudder stick to the left. Good. Okay, now the sticks are configured, so that's good. Now let's get the smart buttons. So here's a wizard for setting up your switches. We're going to set up engine on/off banks and rescue and hit the start. Okay, here it's saying, where do you want bank 1 to be? We want that to be on this switch all the way down. That's what I'd move the switch to. Hit next. Then bank 2 is in the middle. Bank 3 is all the way up. Now, auto rotation. We're on the other side of the radio. Auto rotation mode is in the middle on this 3-position switch. Hit next, and motor off is all the way to the top. Hit next. Okay. Now rescue. I want you to hold down the rescue switch and hit next, and then let off the rescue switch and hit next. Okay, it says we're done. So let's try it. Oh, okay, no errors. We're good. Let's try these. That shouldn't have started. See, I took my switch and I put it into the auto rotation mode and it fired up. That's not what's supposed to happen. When I move it to engine off, that works. Okay, so let's figure that out. What we're gonna do is we'll right click to bring up the menu, go to controller, and then we're gonna go to buttons. Now, these are your switches. The program's calling them buttons, but when I move channel 5, notice how when it's all the way up, the switch is all the way in the up position right now. You can see that it's registering as an engine off. That line jumps over and it falls into the engine off category. When I go to the middle, there is nothing assigned for that for some reason. Sometimes the program does this. So I'm going to select none, and I'm simply going to select auto rotation. So, and then another thing you could do is you can kind of move these sliders around so that it falls within a given range. So there is motor on. We're going to leave that as none because it'll default to the bank switch. But when it comes to auto rotation, the red slider lands in the middle. And then with the engine off, it falls all the way there. Okay, that should get us going. Let's try it again. Let's see here. Engine's off right now. I move it to auto rotation, it still stays off. And then I turn the engine on. It fires up. Now I'm in bank 3, so that's the highest RPM. I will move it, the bank switch. Okay, good. We see a reduction in RPM. That means that's working. And we go all the way down. Okay, so that's low head speed. That's bank number 1. Okay, everything's looking good. Everything's looking good so far. My screen's a little jittery. It's the screen recording. Okay. Let's kick it up. Oh, bank 3, max power, 3D mode. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like all the sticks are functioning the way they should. Try rescue. There it is. Rescue works. And then it fades out like it should. Let's bring the helicopter back. Rescue. And it stops and flips the heli over. Perfect, guys. There's motor off. Let's try our auto rotation switch. We're going to flip the motor to on. Let's see if it spools up quickly. Auto rotation. Oh. All right, here we go. Keep it simple. Coming up. Switch is flipped. Back to motor on. Yep, it recovers. Perfect. All right, everything's working well. Okay, now that Heli-X is up and running and you're ready to put in that daily practice, you might start wondering if all this effort is really worth it. I'd like you to take a look at this video right here. This is an example of consistent practice turning into execution. Watch California local legend Art fly his XL Power Spectre at sunset. The flight, it's smooth, it's aggressive, and it is absolutely dialed. This is an example of what your simulator time is really for. Thanks, aviators. I'm Shane. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the flying field.